15 seconds. That's it. That's all it took for a Florida preacher, a guy who loved God, raised 5 kids, to open a DNA test and see something so messed up, so awful, it ended with blood everywhere. His wife. Chopped up. His dad. The one who ruined it all. This isn't a church story. This is true crime at its scariest. Stick with me, you're not gonna believe this. Hey there, welcome to a story that's been stuck in my head since I heard it. It's about faith, family, and a gruesome dismemberment that shook up a little Florida town. Today we're jumping into the Florida preacher murder that's got people buzzing. Hit that subscribe button quick, we're about to dig into a shocking family secret that shows real life can be crazier, and way bloodier, than any movie. So, picture this, a small, sleepy part of Florida. The sun's hot, bugs are buzzing, and there's this guy, Elijah King. He's not just some regular dude, he's a preacher. A guy who talks to God for a living. He's tall, strong, with a voice that can make you listen or make you feel safe. Everyone in his church loved him. They thought he was solid, like a rock. He had a wife named Sarah and 5 kids. Looked like the perfect family, you know. But nah, that was all fake. Something bad was hiding under all that happy stuff, waiting to bust out and turn this preacher into a total nightmare. Elijah's whole life was about believing in God. Sundays, he'd stand up front, preaching to the crowd. During the week, he'd have little prayer meetings. His kids, 3 boys and 2 girls, would sit right up close, looking at their dad with big, happy eyes. Sarah, his wife, was always there too, helping out. She'd bake cookies for church dinners, teach the little ones about Jesus, smile at everyone. People looked at them and thought, man, they've got it all together. But here's the thing, looking perfect doesn't mean you are. For Elijah, that perfect life was a big fat lie, and it was about to fall apart. Okay, let's set it up. It's 2024. Elijah's around 40 years old, been leading his church for a long time. His dad, Amos King, is a big part of his life too. Amos is older, with gray hair, tough looking, and he used to be a preacher way back. He gave Elijah the job, like passing down a family treasure. Amos acted proud of his son. They'd pray together, eat together, tell funny stories from the old days. But every family's got something hiding, right? And Amos was hiding something huge, bigger than anyone could guess. Now imagine this, Elijah's at home one night. The kids are asleep, Sarah's in the kitchen humming a tune. He's just chilling, maybe flipping through stuff on his phone. Then he sees it, an ad for one of those DNA kits. You've seen M, find out where you're from. Learn about your family. Maybe he's bored. Maybe something's bugging him deep down, like a little voice he can't shake. So he orders one, not just for him, but for Sarah and the kids too. Like, hey, let's do this for fun. Except it wasn't fun. That choice was like lighting a match in a room full of gas. A few weeks go by, and the results show up. Elijah's sitting at the table, holding these envelopes. The kids are giggling somewhere nearby, Sarah's cooking dinner. He rips his open first, no big deal, just stuff he already knew about his family tree. Then he opens the kids' tests. He's looking at all these numbers and little charts, and then, whoa, he stops. Something's wrong. Really wrong. His DNA doesn't match theirs. Not even a little. His heart's beating fast now. He checks again, then again. 5 kids. 5 tests. None of them are his. Here's where the DNA betrayal hits hard, the kind of twist that makes us true crime fans go, no way. Elijah's brain's spinning. Is it a mistake? Were they adopted? Nah, that can't be right, these kids look like him, got his eyes, his chin. Then he sees it, the dad's DNA isn't blank. It's not some random guy. It's Amos King. His own dad. The guy who raised him, prayed with him, sat at his table every holiday. Amos is the real dad of all 5 of Elijah's kids. Hold up, think about that for a minute. Put yourself in Elijah's shoes. Your kids, the ones you held when they were babies, taught to say their prayers, bragged about at church, they're not yours. They're your brothers and sisters, sort of. Your wife's been with your dad for years. And you had no clue. It's a shocking family secret, so nasty, so wild, it'd mess up anybody. And Elijah? It didn't just mess him up, it broke him into pieces. Let's back up a sec. How does something this crazy even happen? Sarah knew Amos forever, she met him when she married Elijah, maybe even before. Was it a secret love thing? Did it happen once and just keep going? Or was it worse, like Amos forced her or tricked her somehow? We don't know every detail, true crime stories like this don't always tell us everything. But here's what's clear, Sarah didn't say a word. Amos didn't either. And Elijah? He was raising kids that weren't his, preaching about love while this giant lie was sitting right there in his house. So what's he do next? He doesn't sit around. He doesn't try to pray it away. He goes straight to Sarah. Picture it, it's late, kids are sleeping, house is quiet. Elijah's holding those DNA papers, hands shaking like crazy. Sarah's in the living room, maybe folding clothes, not paying attention. Sarah, he says real quiet, we gotta talk. She looks up, sees his face, all white, eyes big and angry, and knows something's bad. He tosses the papers down in front of her. Tell me, he says. Tell me why my dad's DNA is in our kids. What happens after that is when this turns into a total nightmare. Sarah's scared, maybe she says it's not true, maybe she admits it. We don't know exactly what she said, but we know Elijah lost it. All those years of lies hit him like a truck. He's thinking about his dad, picturing him with Sarah, and her not telling him anything. They start yelling. It gets loud, messy. And then, quiet. Not the good kind. The kind that means something terrible's about to go down. Elijah didn't just get mad. He broke apart. They say he grabbed a knife, maybe from the kitchen, maybe one he used for hunting. Sarah didn't have a chance to run. Right there, in that peaceful Florida house where he used to talk about forgiving people, he chopped her up. Piece by piece. A gruesome dismemberment that turned a preacher into a killer. His hands that used to hold a Bible, were covered in blood. True crime doesn't get any creepier than this. Time goes by, hours, maybe. He might have just sat there, looking at what he did. Maybe he tried to wipe it away. But you can't hide something that awful. Not for long. The kids wake up, or maybe a neighbor hears something weird, notices the lights are still on. Someone calls the cops. They show up, sirens screaming in the early morning. And what they see, man, it's hard to even say. Blood everywhere. Pieces of Sarah. A crime scene so bad it'd stick with even the toughest police forever. They grab Elijah fast. He doesn't even fight them. Maybe he's empty inside, maybe he's still mad. Word gets out, first it's whispers at church, then it's all over the internet. Florida preacher murders wife after DNA shocker. People start making videos, like me, talking about it, guessing what happened. Was he crazy? Was it payback? Was it some messed up kind of right and wrong? The Florida preacher murder blows up, and everyone's asking, how does a guy who's all about God end up like this? Let's think about this more. What about Amos? The dad. The guy who started it all. Did he know Elijah figured it out? Did he think the DNA test might spill his secret? Some folks say he was there that night, others say he took off when it all hit the fan. We don't have his story yet. But think about him, maybe he felt bad, maybe he didn't care. A guy who acted holy, who made kids with his son's wife, now watching everything fall down. True crime loves a bad guy, and Amos is perfect for that. And the kids, oh man, those poor kids. 5 of them, stuck in this mess. Their mom's gone because of their dad's hands, their grandpa's gone because of what he did. They're little, too little to get it all, but big enough to feel how heavy it is. Where are they now? With other family? Somewhere else? Knowing their dad killed their mom and their grandpa's their real dad? That's the kind of hurt that stays with you forever. The court part is where it all comes out. Elijah's in handcuffs, sitting in front of a jury. The lawyers fighting for the cops say he's a monster, he planned it, did it cold. The ones helping him say he went nuts for a minute, who wouldn't lose it after that? DNA people talk, cops tell what they saw. Sarah's family's crying in the seats. And Elijah? He's just there, blank. A preacher who used to help people find God, now trying to save himself. They decide quick. Guilty. Locked up for life, no way out. Florida doesn't do the death penalty for this, but some say that'd be easier on him. Elijah's in jail now, just a shadow in an orange jumpsuit, while life keeps going outside. The church closes up. The house sits there empty, like a creepy reminder of a shocking family secret that turned into murder. So why can't we let this go? It's not just the gruesome dismemberment or the DNA betrayal. It's how far he fell. Elijah King was a guy you'd trust, a church guy. And he turned into this warning about secrets and family and how close love is to hate. True crime isn't just about blood, it's about why it happened. And Elijah's why? We'll never know it all. We've been at this for a while and it feels like the end, but does it really stop? Stories like this keep going. People in that Florida town still talk about it. On X, folks keep posting, did Amos get away? Was Sarah bad too? The kids grow up with this heavy past they didn't ask for. And us? We're sitting here thinking, what would I do? How much could I take before I broke? This is Elijah King's story, a preacher who found the truth and lost it all. If this true crime nightmare got you hooked like it did me, smash that like button. Subscribe for more, Florida murders, DNA shocks, family secrets, we've got tons coming. Share this with your true crime buddies, let's make it go wild online. Tell me down below, was Elijah a bad guy, or just a guy who got pushed too far? Catch you in the next one. Stay curious, stay safe.